What is Dagger here?
Dagger here is a LARP-based fantasy sport. Practically, it's just a bunch of people on the field hitting each other with foam weapons. When I say fantasy sport, even though your mind may move to something like Lord of the Rings or maybe even Harry Potter or something like that, it's more based on the combat than the role-playing. You see a lot of us in what we call garb, which is our attire, and when we put stuff like that on, it has to be somewhat era appropriate for things like medieval fighting and stuff like that. So when you ask the question, what is Dagger here, the technical term would be a fantasy role-playing game. But it's honestly much, much more than that. It's a community. It's where people can come together, diverse. It doesn't matter who you are. You leave all of your outside world stuff at the door and you come in here and you have fun.
How old is Dag?
Wow, good question. Dagger here originally was erected in Pennsylvania, ran by a group called Aratari. They are still around today. It was erected in 1978, 77, 78, somewhere around there. Don't quote me on it. But it is fairly old. You can tell by the age of the largest event we have, which is Ragnarok. Well, we just recently had Ragnarok 33. So before Ragnarok was created, our largest event, obviously Dagger here was created. It took a while to actually set up a large-scale event. But it is close to, if not 40 years old as a sport.
Hey, dead people don't walk. What events are there?
Big question. So Dagger here tries to accommodate for everyone on the East and West Coast. There are a lot of specific realms that hold their own events that aren't exactly popular. So there are a lot of events out there, you just got to look for them. Recognized events such as Ragnarok, which is in Pennsylvania, Winter War, which is in South Carolina, Summer Slaughter, which is in Florida, and then Frostbane's in Florida. There's a lot of events down there, a lot of events in South Carolina, like Under Siege, which is actually a different rule set, but a lot of Dagger here fighters swap from different rule sets, but there are a lot of events.
When and where do you practice?
We practice here on Sundays and Wednesdays. This is College Lakes Park, 4846 Tranquil, actually no, I think it's 4648 Tranquil Drive. Just look up College Lakes Park, you could find it. We practice here on Sundays, 11 to 5. And we practice here on Wednesdays, 5:30 to about 8 o'clock when it's daylight savings time. But when it rolls around and we set the clocks forward, we actually start a little later and end a little later as well because of the time that it is bright out.
Can you tell me what the Guild of Allegiance is?
So the Guild of Allegiance is a unit that is under the realm. It is the name of the unit. But it actually stands for a lot more than just a unit in Dagger here. I came up with the name back in January for the simple fact that it's an honorable name that you would want to hear. So when you think Guild of Allegiance, we're actually just a group of friends that want to be allies with everybody. I mean, that sounds kind of weird, but it allows us to hold something to our own. And that is that we always take the guild's, what's the word I'm looking for? The guild's morals would be a good word to use in mind. We always try to be honorable. We always uphold our our respect and integrity for the guild. So when you say Guild of Allegiance, any member here can tell you that it's held with high regard, that we should be honorable and respectful.
What kind of game modes are there?
There are many, many, many game modes. Some of the most popular would probably be Kill Your Killer, which is a free-for-all game set. Your objective is to kill a person, and then if you die, that person would come back to life. So your total objective is to try to kill everyone without dying. When you have a large scale, a large amount of people, it's not really that easy, because the more people you have, the harder it is to keep track of everybody. So that's usually for smaller battles. Large scale battles and large events usually have scenario types, like Kill the King or bridge battles. It all depends on how many numbers you have, or how much attendance you have at the event, whether or not large scale battles would really be feasible. So to name a few of the battles or scenarios, there's Kill Your Killer, Kill the King. They're playing Griff Ball right now, also known as Goblin Ball, some other areas, but your objective in this one is to take the central bomb, so to speak, and take it to your enemy's base, and it'll explode and you win the game. Other ones are Capture the Flag, Ring the Bell. There's just so many game modes, and people come up with other game modes as well. It's not just limited to a specific type. Usually for big events, they will sit down all together and they will talk about what kind of events would be good, and throw out ideas of different game modes to try. So there is definitely a lot of different game modes.
Do you have any tips for newcomers to Dagger here?
Newcomers, yes. Don't just come in and pick up any weapon. Ask somebody what you think would work best for you. I see a lot of people coming in and they just pick up the largest, most fun-looking weapon they can. And really, even though it does seem fun to do, it leads to a lot of injuries. And that's really our main focus out here, is to minimize the injuries and keep people safe. So when you're coming out, I would recommend that you use a smaller style weapon like a bat or a sword, just a single short sword. Get good with that first and then move up. As far as another tip I can give is that if you really love and enjoy the sport, get your own weapons, because that'll make you love it even more, because you have something of value in your hands and it's yours to keep. I have a lot of community weapons out here, but sometimes it's not enough for everybody. So if you get your own weapons, you just end up valuing not only your setup, but you value the game more, because you're having fun with your own weapons. And I can't tell you how much that's actually cherished. One more tip that I can say is that garb, where it's not a necessity at practice, it is at events. So when you're garbing up, don't think, oh, I gotta be the most fancy, or oh, I have to get the most expensive garb. It's not like that. As much as it hurts me to say this, because I love people that actually get garbed up, a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt that's cut down the middle with a string tied through it, that's basic minimum garb, and that's all you need.
Would you say Dagger here is a good way to learn how to fight, use swordplay, anything like that?
In regards to when you look at a cost-benefit analysis between cost and efficacy, I believe Dagger here and Belegarth impart a certain level of battlefield experience that you really can't get in more traditional martial arts, just because it allows you to make mistakes in full contact fighting. There's other organizations like the SCA or the ACL, which uses full steel armor or full rigid armor, rattan or steel weapons. And really the takeaway from there is that the entrance cost is really high. It's probably around $800 to get your first set just to play. And the other thing is, if you mess up and you take a rattan stick to the head, you're out for a while. This one, if I mess up and I die, it's a foam stick, I'm back up again in 30 seconds. So Gives you things like battlefield awareness, more tempo, just the tempo of an actual competitive fight. Nothing here is staged, nothing here is choreographed, it's all just the raw rhythm. The other thing I really like is, you know, if you want to use a weird ass weapon and you can make it work, then go for it. It works. It has real world applicability if it can work in this competitive atmosphere, so.
Okay, for blues and reds, could you explain the difference?
Yeah. So really simple. A blue sword is considered a short sword, 34 inches. It does a normal amount of damage, which is like 1 point. A red sword is something that's 48 inches and longer. It's like a really big sword, and it does 2 points of damage. And the way that you can look at it differently is you can see them, one, some of the short sword looks like they have a little sword. Some of the red normally has like something that's really long and really big, and they swing it really hard. And those kind of swords can break through shields, and they can go through armor, like the armor I'm wearing now. And normally if someone were to hit you with a red, they would say red, and it would do extra damage to armor or shields.
I just never get tired of it because you'll be out there.
Could you quickly explain, like, what are the rules for, like, making weapons? Like, what's the...
So in DAG, so in DAG, making a simple blue sword or a short sword that's 34 inches, really simple stuff. You need a core, and you can start off with cores that are made out of carbon fiber or like a golf club. You can just find a golf club, cut the tip off, and you have a carbon fiber core. You can use wood dowel that you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. You can, what's the other thing people use? Bamboo, which you can find at different stores. It's kind of hard to find bamboo. The easiest thing is go to a pawn shop or a thrift store or a yard sale and go and buy a golf club. Cut the head off, you have a carbon fiber stick. Then you can buy blue camp pad from Walmart. It's like a foam camp pad you sleep on. You cut it into strips. There's a ton of videos online, ton of things. But I guess the simplest DAG sword would be to get a golf club, cut the head off, go to Walmart, buy that swimming noodle stuff, and you know what I mean? And then you cut the swimming noodle to length, you put it on there, you know, and you tape it the right way. It's actually really interesting. If you're trying to make a weapon and you want to do it right, I really wish I had all the rules because there's a big list of things to make something legal. And it's all on there. There's tons of tutorials online. The DAG web pages and our Facebook page is going to have those tutorials on there.
Did you happen to make your own stuff, make your own weapons? Or?
Yeah, so I made the chainmail, the riveted aluminum chainmail, but most of the people I know make weapons and make swords. I make my own weapons. I don't have any of them on me now. I make my own shields, but like this leather armor and the garb I wear here are people I know very closely that make it for me because we're all part of the same fighting company. So they make the armor with the fighting logo and the garb with the fighting logo. But generally, most of the equipment that you find is someone you know has made it or you make it yourself. I specialize in making my own weapons because I make them for me.
Do you feel like you learned anything being in DAG?
If I were to conflate Bell and DAG together, yes, very much so. All of the stuff I'm wearing right now is stuff I've made myself. Most of the stuff I've had to learn by myself just through online guides and just trial and error, but I've learned how to sew, how to leatherwork, how to steelwork, how to connect with people. The majority of my relationships, the majority of my jobs, and the majority of my living situations have all been as a result of networking skills garnered through Dagger here. So yeah, I would say I've learned a lot from this. I'm probably going to keep doing this until I'm too old to keep doing it.
Being here in DAG, do you feel like you learned anything?
Oh yeah, DAG has taught me a lot, especially this park because the parks I come from before, they play a little bit different of a foam fighting game. So in DAG here, I've learned a lot, and learned a lot about different people. You know, just what kind of people are into these kind of sports, and that aspect, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I came here and I learned a lot more to fighting with sword and shield and stuff like that. Obviously, it's a little different from the real thing since sword's a little heavier, but I learned a lot. It's pretty fun.
Did you make your own stuff?
No, I didn't. I went online and bought all my stuff. I don't have a artistic bone in my body. So.
He is Viking, I just have the armor. No, he's not Viking. Our Viking's not. Our real Viking's not here.
if you have any interest at all for trying to do any of these sports, these contact foam sports, the best thing you need to do is just come to a park. Find a park in your local area. You can go to dagwebpage.com. You can go to Facebook page like LARPing Facebook of your city, and there's going to be a Facebook page, and you really just need to get out here and really see what it's like. I mean, that's the best part. You know, if you have any interest at all, or you know, and it's not about if you're scared, like, oh, I don't want, or not scared, but if you're new and you don't know what you're gonna do, just get out here. You're allowed to watch, just sit, and just kind of like meet the people and try. You know, there's no obligations when you come out here, and that's the best part is you can really just be whoever you want to be and just enjoy it in different aspects. We have people right now that come out here every weekend just to watch, just to hang out with the cool people and watch, and or play, you know, other games that we're into, like role playing, you know, Dungeons and Dragons, Magic. I think there's some Yu-Gi-Oh dudes that get together every weekend. Like, they come out here just to get along with everybody. It's a great place to be.
What do you like about DAG?
I love the sense of community and the amount of people that actually come out and they care for each other. You know, you go to events and where it is a very fun and dramatic sport, there's not much drama between people there. You're all there for the same reason, and you can all come together as a community and enjoy the sport. And the sport itself is amazing, and it's actually a good way to work out. So that's a couple of things of what I like about this sport.
It's mostly the community, but I also love the fact that I'm able to just be who I am, especially around people who are also like me.
DAG here really puts you into the mind frame of the now. Thing is that when you have a big with 350 pounds wearing all armor, giant weapon, and he's about to crank it into you and you have to move, react now, all the anxieties about your future, all of your worries about your past, they all melt away. Your lizard brain takes over and forces you right into the present. So in a degree, it's a form of escapism, and that forces you into the awesome way that the present gives to us. The beautiful air, the sunshine, the grass growing, the birds chirping. I don't have to worry about debt. I don't have to worry about old girlfriends. It's great.
Oh man, the thing I like about DAG is the people that are involved in it. There's just like a lot of walks of life, and no one really forces too much of their own personal lives on it. You know, it's just a time where you can come together and really just, you know, role play or let your own self come out, and just, you know, there's not a lot of judgment in DAG, and everyone seems pretty chill. Yeah, it's the best part really.